nothing sacred on the broadcast. Quote in the comments, chanting every line. You're tuned to the truth that you'll never find online. Come on, it's the cult of Ron and Brian. If you're in, you ain't ever going quiet. Twist that dial, let the whole world hear it. Two sharp minds in the bad influence spirit. Hey, cult of Ron and Brian. Welcome to the ride, you're inside it now.
All right, welcome inside, everybody, for episode 410 of the Cult of Ron and Brian podcast. It is Sunday night. It is 8 p.m. here on the East Coast, and I am here with my bestie from a different testy, Brian. Brian, how the hell are you this evening?
I'm doing wonderful. Riding an emotional high, had just a splendid weekend. Got to spend so much time with people that I love, surrounded by just good vibes. And you know, the only way to knock out a weekend, a way to close it out. This is the Mariano Rivera of weekends. You know, if Lars Ulrich would allow it, our intro music should be Enter Sandman. But we're not looking to pay those kind of royalties. You know, so. We got some friends of the show to record that intro music, and I'm going to tell you something. That's better than anything that Metallica ever put together. So I'm looking forward to the next 58 minutes. We are going to slay it. People, they're going to be talking about this one for years. Also, Ron, you know, I talk about myself a lot, but how are you doing?
Doing well. Again, had a great weekend spending it with some loved ones. I'm sure we will talk about that later on during the episode. So it's just good when you can come together, you can drink, you can eat, you can have entertainment, and just revel in each other's presence.
Well. What do we get? Where are we going from that?
Well, I think the only place we can go, drink of the week.
Welcome aboard, don't spill your brew. We've got one cup and maybe two. A mystery pour in a paper sleeve, the kind that makes the wise men grieve. Hey, drink of the week, drink of the week. Raise it up, let the anchors creak. Drink of the week, drink of the week. Bottoms up for the Cult of Ron and Brian podcast.
Oh, do we love that drink of the week intro? But more than that, we love our drinks of the week. Brian, you were holding the glass up in a limited edition Cult of Ron and Brian pint glass. What are you bringing to the show to drink this evening?
This week, I went deep into the mystery box that I received from my local wine, liquor, beer store. This week, we are bringing, I'm going to hold this up so you can see the label properly. This is Kirin Ichiban's Premier Lager. Comes in a bottle.
Right.
So let me.
I've seen that. I know a lot. That's a get, I think.
It is a get, except if you are the people over at Beer Advocate. I will say this. We're going to discover Japanese precision behind every drop of this premium 100% malted barley beer. It's brewed with the world's only first press method. Don't know what that means. Offering exquisitely smooth and rich flavor. Perfect for any occasion. This is a 5.0 ABV. Beer Advocate, like to say they're a little snobbish sometimes. They're giving this a score of 65, which places it in the poor category. I also feel a little poor after buying this beer. But this is Kirin Ichiban's Premier Lager.
So, I mean, Beer Advocate's been wrong before. Let's see what Brian's take on it is. Kind of going for a second sip, making sure.
I'm going to say this. This would go great with some sushi, you know, where you've got like a heavy, you've got a heavy, you know, or a teriyaki chicken, where you've got like a heavy food. There's a lot of seasoning, a lot of spices, a lot of flavor in your food. You're looking for a beer to wash it down. This is a great beer for it. I don't know what Beer Advocate is thinking of. I mean, sure, it doesn't have hints of coriander, lemon peel, maybe something from the Susquehanna River or the Menonchuk or whatever they call it down there. Is it the Menonchuk or Meningitis River. One of those rivers. What was that?
Schuylkill? The Schuylkill River, perhaps?
Close enough. Only you guys would celebrate the innocent slaughter of over 300 first graders back in 1842 and name a river after it. I mean, that just speaks to the trash that Philly is. I'm going to say this. If you're looking for a sophisticated beer, it's not overloaded in flavor, this will go excellent with a very heavily flavored meal. This premium lager is from the fine folks at Kirin Ichiban. I'm going to give this a 3.5. Ron, let me ask you a question on this very important day of all days.
I'm listening.
What are you drinking?
So going local again this time, Brian, from the good folks at Levante Brewing Company. This is Lightly Cloudy, their low-cal IPA. This is their grapefruit version. Brian, a warm, light tropical breeze is sweeping through, whisking away the cloud cover and leaving behind nothing but a bright, lightly cloudy sky. That's the metaphor they used when brewing this low-calorie version of their favorite hazy IPA, still brewed with pillowy soft oat and wheat malts and laden with citrusy tropical additions of Idaho 7 and Mosaic hops. This is not ranked on Beer Advocate as of yet, just one review giving it a 3.85 out of 5. Here it is, hazy. You get kind of the pinkish hue from the grapefruit. Yeah, this is here. 110 calories, only 4 carbs, Brian. Very health conscious these days.
I'm afraid that may not translate to flavor.
Oh, that's good. Hold on.
Ooh, he's going to take a second sip because that is how he rolls.
I'm going to say I'm going to give this a 4 out of 5. Crisp, hoppy, and citrusy as well. I am enjoying that tremendously. So I will be drinking that, maybe a second one when we do After Dark later.
You can never tell. It's going to be dangerous. It's going to be dangerous. Can we talk about your beverage from last week? And
sure.
How would you rank it? We got a lot of emails from viewers over the past week. They wanted an update. Last week, you drank a THC-infused beverage.
I did.
You seem to handle yourself amazingly during the podcast. We were waiting for it to kick in, whether you felt the effects or not. How did it go?
So had the 10 milligram seltzer from 5 Farms. And like you said, felt relaxed during the podcast, felt good. And then we hit After Dark, and for whatever reason, lost the dexterity in my fingers, had difficulty putting the AirPods in, had difficulty focusing on the screen. So managed to get through those 30 minutes and then had a delightful night's sleep. So I would give it a thumbs up, Brian.
At any point did you have to wake up in the middle of the night to go to the bathroom? I know you complain about having to do that a couple times nowadays.
Clean through till morning, Brian. Clean through.
Dry bed? Dry bread?
No, I mean I still went to the bathroom in the middle of the night. Didn't wake up for it.
Perfect. And the thing was, you had mentioned that you and the ladies were, the two of you were looking for mattresses. So this was just kind of a little nudge in the right direction.
Gives you that nudge to get things done. I get it.
Absolutely. You guys deserve a new bed.
Well, thank you. Appreciate you. Next up, Brian, as always, it's time for Beef of the Week.
Ron and Brian's Beef of the Week.
Brian, what's bothering you this week?
I'll tell you what's bothering me this week. Trying to charge an electric vehicle in Hudson County, Hudson County, we're going to call it, the eastern portion of Hudson County here in the great Garden State of New Jersey. The lady and I had a couple trips planned this weekend. We went down to the Hertz the local Hertz car rental, and they said to us, hey, how would you guys like to rent an electric vehicle? Now, you know, I've been speaking for months, years, about how much I despise the oil companies, how they are just, soaking, the profits out of us, how monies have, the amount of wealth that is transferred.
Sometimes you'll just text me out of the blue and say, Ron, I still hate those oil company fuckers.
Hate them. Absolutely hate them.
Out of the blue.
The amount of wealth that is transferred from America to the Middle East, these countries were dirt poor, living in sand dunes. Now they are, everybody, Saudi Arabia is giving $1 million to everybody just for the sake of it. That's all American wealth that we just shipped over because we love driving. So the idea of getting out of that oil, gas guzzling world and to embrace the electric. I said, you know what? That sounds lovely. Let's get an electric vehicle. Let's drive it this weekend. Not easy charging this fucking thing. It was not a special car. It did not require a specific type of connection. It was a standard electric vehicle charger. My property where I live, the Ivory Tower, has 2 chargers on property for electric vehels. Thursday, was it Thursday night? No.
It doesn't seem like enough chargers for a complex as large as yours.
We are in the process of really embracing electric vehicles. So we went to go use it. Apparently you need to download an app. And when you download an app, apparently then you need to register, which I did. Then I needed to provide a credit card, which I did. And then when I tried to connect my app to the car charger on property, wouldn't recognize it. It gave me an error message, so we were not able to charge on the property. So we drove down to the local mall where we researched, and they said there's several chargers in the area that you can use there. First company, again, had to download an app, had to register, had to give a credit card company. And at that point, they said, okay, please hold your program card next to the scanner so you can start charging your car. In 2026, in an age where everything is app-based, this charger wanted me to somehow acquire a physical card from them so that I could use to charge. Mind-boggling. Up to this point, I'm like, I just thought you could just hold your credit card up and it would work. The third charger we tried to use, also, I gave up. You know me, I get easily frustrated. So while I was trying to figure out the third company's brand, a lady ran over to Hertz to complain to somebody, being like, hey, you gave us a car, we can't fucking charge this thing. He goes, oh yeah, you know what to do? Go to the next bank and try their chargers. That one worked like a charm. So it was, an unnecessary.
Charging isn't quite a thing, is what you're saying.
No, and the infrastructure really just isn't there for you would think that for the number of electric vehicles that are being sold, that are being embraced, and obviously Tesla, because Elon Musk is an asshole, they have their own dedicated chargers. Right. They've got their own fancy proprietary link up, so only a Tesla can charge at a Tesla station. This was not a simple process. You know, in an age where we are looking for ways to acquire energy other than through, the soaking up fossil fuels out of the ground, you think that they would have made this process a lot easier. It's 2026, people. Get your fucking act together. And I'm going to also say there's a caveat here. There may be some user error involved in this.
Sure.
I try, and keep in mind, I did the first one that's on property. I tried calling. I spent 10 minutes on the phone with customer service. You can imagine how much I was sweating at that point. Because my lady's staring at me being like, can you get it to work? And I'm like, hold on a second. I'm talking to somebody. Did not sound local, if you know what I'm getting at. He was trying to help me, doing his best, but clearly reading off of pre-printed, preconceived
flowchart cards and everything else.
Yes.
Well, and considering they're competing against a gas pump, which you just pull up, you put gas in the car, and then you drive away. You would think that the electric car industry would want it to be a similar level of ease for you.
Sure. And the thing is, even that, we were looking for. They have fast chargers, which will
Right.
speed the delivery of electricity into your battery. And then they have just regular chargers. So we were hunting also a fast charger, which still took about an hour and a half to get us from 25% battery up to 100. So it's when you're looking at gasoline, which, like you said, takes about 5 minutes to fill up your tank, and that gives you enough fuel for a day and a half if you're going on a road trip. It's the technology is just not there yet, and it was really disappointing because I was hoping that was going to be hey, this worked out splendidly. Let's get an electric car, but I don't. It was a huge pain.
Fell a
in the
little
ass.
short, is what you're saying.
Well, not the only area where I'm a little short. Ron, let me ask you a question.
Yes, sir.
What's bothering you?
So what's bothering me this week, Brian, is my landscaper, and I will save you the time. We'll just fill in where Brian says I'm privileged. I live in a gated community. Don't do a hard day's work in my life. Blah blah blah. Anyway, Brian, you've seen the work we've been doing in our backyard here over the last few years. So right now we've been looking to put a walkway from the driveway up to the deck and from the deck out to the pool that we had put in. So we hired this guy to do some other landscaping. You've been here since we had all that stuff torn out in the back. It looks better.
Absolutely.
Right?
Looks lovely.
Cleaner.
It looks very lovely. Yes,
Right.
Yes.
So then we had to wait like a month for him to come back and start on this project. So he's like, I'm going to be there Monday. He's like, I'm absolutely certain I can complete this job on Monday and Tuesday. Mm-hmm. Perfect. I love absolute certainty. So we have the two gates that open up, but we really just use the one on the left to go in and out. Mm-hmm. So we wanted the walkway to go from there to the deck. So they show up, they start working. I'm in my home office. I go down, probably about middle through the day, and it's like more over towards the other side of the gate. And so I see the guy, and I'm like, I thought this was going to be in line with this other gate. He's like, no, I thought we said we were going to center it for aesthetics. And I'm like, even if it's supposed to be centered, you're still like 2 feet off. He's like, well, we're a little off. So he's like, well, what do you want me to do? I'm like, well, let's try and widen it. Couldn't widen it. Yeah. We're going to run out of bricks. And so then it just, long story short, jacked up most of the yard and didn't finish till yesterday.
Oh, that's terrible. That's utterly terrible, Ron.
Guy Bannister is really giving it to me this week.
He said you're an elitist, said that you've got white people problems, and here just reminding everybody that you live behind gates. You are not a man of the people. Really, Ron. I understand that everything in your world is just so perfect. Everything goes exactly the way you want it. And when your landscaper is putting together a path and it's not exactly to the inch, exactly where you want it, this is the biggest gripe you have this past week. There are people struggling to afford grocery bills. But I get it. I absolutely get it.
There are people struggling to charge electric cars. The struggle out there is real.
Sorry, Joe. I don't live behind an ivory tower. I live in an ivory tower. There's a difference.
Well, I think what she's referring to is there's a nicer ivory tower that has been built next to yours that is now blocking your ivory tower.
How dare you say that? How dare you? How dare you? Billy's saying how these comments show up after we can see and hear Brian typing. Just amazing.
It's got to just be a coincidence, I would imagine.
I'm sending complaints to the West New York zoning board that there aren't enough chargers in the area.
Valid question from Billy. Did I get the appropriate permitting for the landscaping? Thankfully, since it was a paver walkway, we did not need permitting for it.
Okay, very good.
At least that's the story I'm going to stick with should the township ever ask.
I swear to God, Ron, all I need to do is one day look up the number of the planning committee in your area. I'm assuming you've already paid them off, but I'm going to see how much it would cost me to have a investigator or an inspector, I guess they're called, go over and start taking a look around your property.
All right.
They'll find the graveyard of fetuses. This fetus cemetery you have in the backyard behind the shed.
Find the mass frog grave that's back there.
Oof, we don't even. Oh, that's terrible. How dare you? How dare you?
All right. Next up, let's let's hold on. Billy's saying that this that I'm impacting our impervious coverage. I'm actually not, due to the pavers. Our township does not count those as impervious space because the water can get in between the cracks. Oh, I know pervious and impervious at this point, my friends.
Talk about inside baseball. Can we get back to something that we need to discuss?
Sure. What would that be?
Our stories of the week.
Oh, you're right, Brian. What is your story of the week this week?
My story of the week takes us to Detroit. There is an epidemic of people in this country who do not know how to behave, how to handle themselves, how to deal with issues inside fast food. We had a story, I'm going to say maybe 3 weeks ago, of an elderly woman who got into an altercation with the staff at her local Tim Hortons when
right.
they screwed up her order. She was seen on video berating a 16-year-old employee, then got into a physical fight with the 20-year-old manager of the store, which led to her ripping hair out of the manager's head before she fell and died within a day. So this is there are consequences to this. Unfortunately, people do not learn the lesson. So when I saw a headline earlier this week that says sisters, including one 9 months pregnant, allegedly stabbed and hurled hot oil at Detroit restaurant worker over wrong order, I said, oh my gosh, it happened again. That's right. A pair of Michigan sisters allegedly stabbed and threw hot oil at a employee at a Detroit chicken restaurant. You are looking at photos of Brianna and Kiriana Long, who were hit with a slew of charges, including assault with intent to murder for a shocking beatdown that unfolded May 30th. The sisters received the wrong order from a 23-year-old worker. They began arguing with her and hopped over the counter. Prosecutors are alleging the Twisted Sisters. Oh, how dare they? How dare the New York Post editors come up with Twisted Sisters as a description here? That band deserves some respect. They threw items at the employee, hit her with pots and pans, and tried to throw hot grease at her head. As the worker tried to throw things back at Brianna and Kiriana, the sisters picked up a knife thrown at them. I know about having knives thrown at you. And stabbed the staffer in the stomach. One of the sisters even proclaimed, I'm going to kill you. The worker was taken to a local hospital where she underwent surgery as the Long siblings attempted to drive away from the scene, but were eventually taken into custody. Brianna, who was 9 months pregnant, gave birth 4 days later before her arraignment in connection with the stabbing. Her defense attorney claimed the worker sparked the assault by stating that she, quote unquote, didn't give a fuck about the food mix-up order and started throwing things at the sisters first. I'm imagining that there is video of this. The new mother pleaded with the judge, stating she was innocent and had a 4-day-old baby at home. The judge, however, ordered Brianna held on a $25,000 cash bond and Kiriana on a $100,000 cash bond. So I think we can assume who did the stabbing after they pleaded not guilty. People, please, it's okay to get your an order wrong. Don't go back to the store. Just choose to.
And it's okay to be angry at times.
Absolutely. But there's no reason to be jumping behind the counter. Do not be throwing pots and pans. And whatever you do, don't stab the employees.
Stabbing people is wrong.
Absolutely. Scary stuff. Scary stuff. Ron, you handle yourself much better when your landscaper does the wrong thing in your house. You at no point decided to throw things at him and then stab him, correct?
No, I did not.
You did the mature thing, which was wait until you came onto your podcast and then complained about it.
We exchanged some firmly worded text messages throughout the week.
Ooh, I feel bad for him. Ron, what's your story of the week?
So my story this week, Brian, continue to love the stories of people from other countries visiting here for the World Cup and sharing their love of this country. This story is about a Japanese tourist. He was in the U.S., like I said, for the World Cup, walked into a Mexican restaurant and was just amazed by what he saw there, and wrote a love note of a Twitter post that has been seen by more than 16 million people. Can I do a dramatic reading of his?
I would
Twitter
love
post
it.
right now?
I would love it.
Oh, let me get the mic up real close so I can.
Oh,
USA.
we're gonna get deep on this. We're gonna get deep
USA.
on this.
A Mexican restaurant. We had not yet ordered anything, and the food was already arriving. Chips, salsa, unrequested, free. I stopped the waiter. We have not earned these. They just come with the table, man. They come with the table. In my land, hospitality is a debt. Every gift creates an obligation, weighed carefully, returned in the proper season with interest of feeling. Here, the gift arrives before you even have proven you can pay for dinner. This is not an appetizer. This is a declaration. We trust you. Eat. I ate with the gravity the moment deserved. And then I must report this calmly. The basket emptied, and a new one appeared. Did we? Refill, the waiter said. It's bottomless. Bottomless. They have wells of salsa. The supply lines of this nation are beyond anything my ancestors imagined. My friend warned me. Don't fill up on chips, dude. Too late. I had accepted 3 baskets. Honor demanded each one be finished. An unfinished gift is an insult. By the time my actual food arrived, I was a ruined man. I was not hungry. I was not comfortable. I had been defeated by a courtesy. Generosity that arrives before the request cannot be repaid. It can only be survived. I know the rule now. I have made my peace with the basket. 1 basket. 2 at the most. Who am I deceiving? There is no number of baskets I would refuse. The trust of a nation is in that salsa, and I intend to honor all of it.
So well, so perfect. It is, it's, I think that we hosted a World Cup years ago. I kind of remember, I think it was 86. There was no social media at the time, so there really wasn't a way to truly capture the experience that foreign sports aficionados were having when they were in America. Now, social media is on every phone that everyone's got walking on. It is so refreshing to hear the experience that people are having. This is one of many, but I also I feel that a lot of times when you see stuff on social media, you immediately sit there and go, "That's fake." There's no American in this country that could fake such eloquent language. Correct. This was absolutely written by somebody who has manners, who has culture, who shows respect, who carries themselves with dignity, and ate 4 to 5 baskets of chips and salsa because they didn't know how to say no thank you to the waiter. This has been it has been all over my social media. I've tried not to send too many to you because I know you're getting them also, but I get such a kick out of watching. And this I think is the apex of the experience, because just the line in there where he acknowledges what the supply chain must be in terms of, because there's a Mexican restaurant in almost every town in this country, and they all serve chips and salsa. So there's just the amount of chips that are generated on a daily basis. And also, so I mean, you get the perspective of somebody who does not have the same I take those chips and salsa for granted. Sometimes I'll eat them if I'm famished. Other times I'll have 3 of them and just push them off to the side because
you'll have like 1 or 2 and you'll waste the rest of the basket. There'll be future baskets.
Sure, it'll be here next time I come. I am waiting for my enchiladas. Though I know you like to get the smoking fajitas because you like the whole restaurant to turn their head and watch your plate get delivered to
sizzle.
You. Yes.
All right, next up, Brian. As we barrel towards the 4th of July, the reflecting pool outside of the Lincoln Memorial has become quite the story over the last few weeks. Of course, President Trump wanted a big patriotic glow up, repainting the inside of the reflecting pool, quote, American flag blue ahead of our country's 250th anniversary, which now has turned into a full-blown algae bloom disaster. Here is a very recent photo of the reflecting pool. The project ballooned from a promised $2 million price tag to at least $14 million. And within 2 weeks of completion, the new coating started peeling and floating to the surface while the water turned a swampy green. Workers have been dumping hydrogen peroxide and running nanobubble ozone tech to fight it off, even though experts said the quantities being used probably weren't enough to do much of anything. Trump's now blaming vandals, of course.
Sure.
Claiming the pool may need to be drained because of damage, though one of the people arrested says he was simply touching a piece of the detached lining. Meanwhile, our tourists are showing up just to gawk and snap pictures of the world's most expensive duck pond. I have also seen now that there are National Guardsmen assigned around the reflecting pool to try and keep people from taking photos of what's going on there right now.
Really? They're
Yes.
stopping people from taking photos?
That is the latest story. Matt was not able to clarify the validity of that prior to the start of the show.
What an embarrassment. What an embarrassment. And the thing is, when the algae first started showing up, I think, people basically, are, scientific experts who we know we can trust, they basically
Right.
said algae is going to be a natural problem. This is a rather shallow pool, not like the one in your backyard that you and your wife and only you and your wife are allowed to use. This is a very shallow pool, which when you fill up with water during a hot, humid season, it is going to become a feeding ground for algae to grow in. And if it's not being properly treated, algae is going to expand in this. It's not going to be cold because it's so shallow, and it's not going to be good.
Well, in addition, apparently on top of the paint job, the federal government awarded a company owned by a Trump donor a $1.7 million no-bid contract to install a new water cleaning solution system for the pool. Again, hopefully that's part of this nano bubble technology that they're talking about. And it is a company called Green Water Solutions, an Ohio-based company whose owner is John J. Hold on, what's the last name here? John J. Cafaro. He has donated to several GOP candidates and conservative causes in recent years. He has donated extensively to Mr. Trump's campaign and to Trump-linked groups, giving $250,000 to the Trump Victory Fundraising Committee at one point in 2020. And also, quite a looker this man is. This is a photo of John J. Cafaro that has been making the rounds. Looking
Just
like
awful.
doing a little pallbearer cosplay from WWE.
Sure.
Wondering where the Undertaker's going to show up.
That's just embarrassing. Just embarrassing that this is
amazing to me
best.
is to your point. Every week there's a new embarrassment, and now it's this reflecting pool, which I'm not sure why we needed to paint it in the first place.
This is a distract. Why? Because it wasn't the right shade of blue. Because he wanted American flag blue. Let's be brutally honest. This isn't even the biggest embarrassment this week. The biggest embarrassment was the memorandum of understanding that was signed with Iran this past week, which somehow we're supposed to be celebrating, when in reality, the deal that we're making with Iran puts us in a worse situation, leaves Iran in a stronger position than they were previous to the American and Israeli military attacking Iran, 3-4 months ago.
Right.
That to me is the larger embarrassment, with at the end of it promises that Iran will be able to access billions of dollars that have been frozen in assets throughout the world. Just
$300
that
billion
is to me
I believe, is the reconstruction fund.
just wild, utterly wild.
Although now
to me.
apparently negotiations have stopped again. The Iranians are pissed off at Trump again, and the Strait of Hormuz apparently is closed again. So
It's closed again.
everyone is anticipating oil prices to skyrocket again tomorrow when the market's open.
And if you were planning on going out and buying an electric vehicle and you live in Hudson County, New Jersey, don't do it, people. Wait. Sorry.
There you go. Going back to embarrassing things, we had the Freedom 250 UFC event on the White House South Lawn last Sunday night. And apparently there was a plot to attack that event. 5 men were charged for planned an attack on this event. They've released the identity of 3 people so far. According to the DOJ, the plan involved flying explosive-laden drones at the event to force a mass evacuation, then deploying snipers to fire on high-value targets fleeing into the crowd, with potential targets including Trump, J.D. Vance, Benjamin Netanyahu, and Elon Musk. Investigators say the group was coordinating in encrypted signal chats, and one suspect's phone alone revealed at least 23 users discussing pre-operational activity. The FBI says the plot tied back to an accelerationist ideology aimed at collapsing the system. Disturbingly, one suspect's mother told agents she'd overheard him talking about recon and hit-and-run missions, which she believed meant conducting shootings, and he was reportedly interviewed by investigators while inside a mental health facility.
Jesus Christ. I mean, I don't even know
Now,
where
Brian,
to start with
you are our
this.
senior anarchist specialist here at the Cult of Ron and Brian podcast. Thoughts on a planned drone attack on the lawn of the White House?
You can launch a drone. You can launch a drone attack onto the White House. And the truth be told is, you do it a couple times, eventually you're going to get past security. But the reality of the situation is, this is the stupidest idea. There's so much security at the White House that these guys with guns are not going to get deep onto the White House grounds. Regardless of the type of ammunition they have, there are snipers on the roof of the White House, and I'm assuming on neighboring buildings. So that no matter where the number of times we've seen, I'm going to say over the past 2 years, people in the vicinity of the White House with a handgun being shot to death by Secret Service. Sure. You're not like this fantasy that they're going to launch a drone into UFC 250 and it's going to cause this mass confusion that's going to allow them to run forward onto the White House grounds while everybody is running away. Now, keep in mind, high value assets, meaning Trump, his wife, other members of the cabinet that were attending, they're not running away from the White House when this happens. Right. They're going to be scooped up by Secret Service and pulled in deeper into the White House where they can be better protected. We learned that during the attempted shooter at the Hilton in Washington, D.C. earlier this year, which is why we need a great ballroom at the White House, so we don't have to have these events off site. You're not going to get anywhere near Trump running forward. These guys would all have just been picked off. And frankly, I'm not looking for any attack on the White House. I don't want that to happen. It's not the way we're going to make this world a better place. But the truth be told is, had these people streamed forward, they would have been all picked off and the world would be a better place. None of these people would be having to clog our judicial system, which is already clogged with some mental health trials. I don't know.
All right. I let you go for a little bit there. You were fired up. Does anyone really picture Trump running?
Oh no, he will be lifted by about, I'm going to say, 8 security guards who are probably practicing right now with a 280-year-old man who is carrying a full diaper. There
you go. Brian, we celebrated the Knicks World Championship on the show last Sunday. A family in Canoga Park also celebrated the Knicks championship last Saturday night when it turned into a nightmare. A neighbor called police after hearing a woman screaming inside of a condo, but it turns out she was just hyped about the game. Well, Brian, police officers showed up And the family's 2-year-old golden retriever / Saint Bernard / poodle mix named Jameson rushed at the responding officers, who did the logical thing, Brian, and shot and killed the dog. The dog had reportedly just been photographed wearing a Knicks shirt minutes earlier. Cell phone video caught the aftermath, with the owner screaming that they were, quote, just fucking celebrating the Knicks. The neighbor who called it in is reportedly riddled with guilt, and the shooting is now under review.
I watched this story on the news this morning. Heartbreaking. So apparently the woman was screaming, "Oh my God," over and over and over again. Her neighbor thought that there was some type of mental health episode that was taking place, and that police needed to do a wellness check. So apparently they knock on the woman's door because they already released the chest cam. What do they call those things?
The body cam?
Body cam. They've already released some of the body cam footage. So the door opens, and this woman's dog, who's I think they announced was either 110 or 120 pounds. This is not a cute little dog. But
if it's got Saint Bernard in there, it's going to be on the bigger side.
It's a big dog. So the police officer said, "Excuse me, ma'am, can you please?" The dog tried to run out the apartment. They were like, "Ma'am, get the dog inside of the apartment." So she pulls the dog in, closes the door. At which point, and this was the footage that we were watching, the police officer is like, "That's a big dog. I'm not getting bit by it. I'm not going to get bit by that dog." Damn. Door opens, and she's just like, "Hey, he's really amped up, but he's a friendly dog." And at this point, the dog rushes out of the apartment and runs towards one of the officers, who immediately takes out his gun, aims it at the dog, and the video cuts off. The newscaster said that in a statement that was released by the police department, they said that their officers are trained in multiple escalated steps on how to deal with aggressive dogs, starting off with tear gas or mace, kicking the dog and whatnot, and how pulling a gun out is the last recourse that their police officers should do. Where in this case, this officer went to their gun immediately. I know there's people out here watching right now who are going to say it was just a dog. Why this shouldn't be such a big deal. But if you see the photo, and it's been on the internet, of this woman on the ground outside of her apartment, laying next to her dead dog, while police officers are off to the side, just heartbreaking.
Any chance that the police saw the Knicks T-shirt and mistook the dog for a person of color, and just their natural response was to fire?
Ron, that is problematic. Problematic, Ron.
I'm just throwing out some theories there. It is horrible. Like, again, this does not look like. I mean, is it a big dog? But it doesn't, look like
it was a big dog. But that doesn't mean that you shoot first. That's the problem. Right. Is that regardless of the size of the dog, you could the officers have mace. They can spray. There's other ways that they could have responded to an aggressive dog prior to pulling out a gun and shooting.
All right. Well, next up, we have an update on the Anna Kepner case. That is, of course, the 18-year-old who was found murdered on a Carnival cruise last November, and her 16-year-old stepbrother, Timothy Hudson, charged with raping and murdering her. He has now been allowed to live with relatives on supervised release since his arrest. That, however, ended last week. A federal judge ordered him locked up before trial, writing that the evidence showed, quote, a level of psychopathy and lack of remorse that by itself raises a serious concern that the defendant can snap at any time, despite the efforts of the family members caring for him. The judge called the strength of the rape evidence beyond clear and convincing, and said that the level of depravity involved would be too hard for most jurors to ignore. Kepner's body was found wrapped in a blanket under the bed in the cabin she shared with Hudson, concealed by life vests, with the medical examiner concluding she'd been sexually assaulted and asphyxiated. This comes after Hudson's own step-grandmother, who says she helped raise him, went public pointing the finger at the parents instead. She told CBS News the setup was basically a disaster waiting to happen. Quote, the lack of parental supervision on a floating city, putting 3 teenagers, 2 boys and a girl in a room together that were not raised together is just a recipe for disaster, and suggested the kids may have been drinking on the cruise. So
Really?
Hudson is going to be tried as an adult, has pled not guilty, and the trial is set for September. It's interesting that the judge is already commenting that the rape evidence is beyond clear and convincing, because should a judge be making those kind of statements prior to a jury being seated for
Probably
a trial?
not. But I did read that they found his DNA inside of her.
I mean, it's going to be, I mean, again, this probably won't be the last story, but it will probably continue to be horrific what we continue to learn.
Absolutely. But I am going to say this. I agree with him being charged as an adult, and I hope he spends the rest of his life in prison.
Oh, yeah.
This kid does not deserve to be given a second chance, does not deserve leniency, does not deserve to be out in public ever again.
All right. Next up, Brian, a 68-year-old Allentown man and registered sex offender, previously nicknamed the, quote, serial squirter by local media, pleaded guilty to indecent assault and a felony failure to register charge tied to a 2022 incident where he squirted a woman with what appeared to be semen while she shopped at a supermarket. This wasn't his first rodeo. He had a near identical 2016 conviction for spraying a different woman at a grocery store, which is what put him on the sex offender registry in the first place. A registry he then failed to keep updated, which is how he caught the felony charge on top of the assault. He's now headed for state prison for 5 to 10 years and will be back in court in September for a hearing to determine if he qualifies as a sexually violent predator. Brian, you are the senior sexual fluid expert on the Cult of Ron and Brian podcast.
Sure.
Talk to me about this disturbing story.
The part that's most disturbing to me here is that he keeps getting caught. I mean, you were doing this to women that would show up to Sears in upstate New York when you were working. I believe that was in Cohoes, New York. You used to squirt your semen onto women as they would be walking through the unmentionables department or in the home goods section, and you were able to avoid capture. How this man keeps getting caught for this crime, bewildering to me that he is getting arrested multiple times, and somehow you are a podcast title belt champion.
So you were saying that the worst part of this story is the fact that he keeps getting caught. The acts he commits is not the worst part. The fact that he's getting caught, you find, is the worst part. Just wanted to clarify your statements there.
It is quite possible, Ron. I did not think my answer through when you threw it over to me to run with. I thought I was making a good point in referencing previous crimes you've committed to the general public. I did not see that glaring, wide open issue that I was just walking myself right into. And I apologize to women all across this globe for my errors.
All right, we have another update on Rex Heuermann, the convicted Gilgo Beach serial killer. His sentencing got dark very fast this past week. Heuermann, who pleaded guilty to murdering 7 women and admitted to an 8th between 1993 and 2010, was sentenced to life without parole. And during the hearing, Suffolk County DA Ray Tierney laid out new details so disturbing that one relative of a victim screamed, "I can't," and fled the courtroom. Tierney described Heuermann keeping a meticulous planning document on his computer detailing how to hunt and torture his victims, and revealed he'd used handmade wood items from his own family life as props in the murders, then destroyed them afterwards to hide the evidence. Prosecutors said Heuermann referred to the killings as a hunt and reminded himself to get sleep beforehand because being tired could cause problems. language Tierney said proved he treated taking human lives as though it were sport. When the judge gave Heuermann a chance to speak, all he offered was that words would have no meaning. The judge wasn't having it, calling him, quote, a disgusting and despicable small man, if you're a man at all, and a coward.
Oof. I mean, I'm not clearly, he's committed some terrible crimes, but his haircut, I also think, is egregious. Why does he shave this area of his head? Because he's growing his hair down, but this piece right here he shaves. And we're not talking, this is way above the sideburn line. Something I noticed this week while he was talking, also looked like he was missing some teeth. That's not a crime, people. I encourage everybody to go out there and get the
bordering on criminal.
I could not help getting distracted by the fact that he shaves all the way up here. William says that might be a comb over a wig. Wouldn't the court take away a wig? Aren't you not able to allowed to wear a wig?
Yeah, I believe you might be right on that.
Wasn't that the whole Phil Spector
yes.
A shot where it was the first time people saw Phil Spector without one of those crazy wigs after he shot that woman in his house?
Excellent.
He was found guilty, correct?
He was, yeah. Is he still in prison or did he pass away already?
I thought he died. I thought he got cancer while he was in prison and died. Not a loss. But somehow William Esquire still watches Columbo. Isn't the guy in Columbo the killer, or was that a different show? Who's the guy that killed his wife at the Italian restaurant? That was
You're thinking of Robert Blake.
Yes.
And he was Beretta, not Columbo.
That's it. Columbo solved crimes. Beretta committed them. Sorry about that.
Beretta solved crimes too.
Really? Well, obviously he solved them so well, he knew exactly how to leave his gun back in the restaurant and kill his wife.
All right, next up, Brian, a Missouri man named Yaya Miley was sentenced to 291 years in prison after a jury convicted him on 17 counts tied to raping and sodomizing 7 women he met on dating apps. Prosecutors said he used the alias John to lure victims to his Baldwin apartment, with crimes spanning from February 2023 through February 2025. The really sick part was that several of his victims were met on a Muslim dating site that requires users to agree to abstinence, and prosecutors said he weaponized their faith to manipulate them. One victim said he removed her hijab without permission, raped her, and then told her that they were, quote, married now. All 7 victims testified at trial. He still maintains a setup and plans to appeal, which, with a 291-year sentence, is probably just appealing on principle at this point.
I know. This is terrible. The one aspect of that story when I was reading the article earlier this week is that there was one woman that he raped twice on 2 different occasions. And the second time, and she was interviewed, I think she gave testimony there, was that she said she went back to his house the second time because she was going to kill him. Like she said, I stayed in contact with him because my life was no longer worth living. It had been ruined. So I decided that I was going to engineer a second encounter with him so that I could see him. And during that, I would kill him. However, when she tried, he overpowered her, raped her again, and left her. And that is when the inner courage of this woman to keep staying alive after she had wanted to kill herself after this. Kind of hope that somebody in prison gets their hands on this guy and does what this woman wanted.
Is it me, or is he kind of looking like a Muslim Shaggy from the Scooby-Doo cartoons?
It is the T-shirt. It is the T-shirt. Yeah. I will also say he looks like
the scruff on the face.
He looks like half of the Iranians' national soccer team that are currently taking part. I forgot what group they are in the World Cup in the 2028. He looks like he could be any of them.
All right. Let's see here. We got a couple more stories to get to before we wrap up here. We talked about this one, I think yesterday when we were hanging out. Carlos Mencia, many of you remember from his Mind of Mencia show many years ago, whose career kind of crashed and burned after Joe Rogan publicly accused him of joke theft. He was arrested at his Encino home this past week and hit with 12 felony tax evasion counts. The LA County DA says he failed to report roughly $8.7 million in personal and corporate income between 2019 and 2024, split between his own earnings and his company, Nedlos Entertainment. The DA's office says the state franchise tax board mailed Mencia 78 separate demand notices over the years telling him to file, and he just never did. This is also the very first case brought by LA's brand new business tax fraud unit. So naturally, they wanted a recognizable name to kick things off. If convicted on everything, he's looking at over 11 years in prison.
Jeez, that's terrible.
I'm trying to figure out how he was still making $8.7 million between 2019 and 2024.
There's a lot of money out on the road, Ron. There's a lot of money out on the road. Also, I also understand that he was what is considered a coyote. He was, in a cash-based business, trying to basically, sneak Mexicans trying to get north of the Rio Grande into the United States. He would make his money doing that.
Is that true?
Alleged. It is alleged by a lot of people. A lot of people are saying he single-handedly ran a underground tunnel from Tijuana into El Paso. I'm not sure they are anywhere near each other. I believe now, after I said it, Tijuana is very close to San Diego. There's a different town in Mexico that is very close to El Paso. I don't know it right now, but we're just going to let that one slide.
So allegedly, you want to put a big allegedly in
allegedly. There. By the way, again, lots of comments on my shirt today. This is a sick of it all boxing T-shirt. Love it. Fits me well. Everybody should go out and get one if they don't have one.
There you go. Brian, a Texas tourist is suing McDonald's after a Sausage McMuffin with egg from a Times Square location allegedly left her violently ill and ultimately required multiple surgeries. The lawsuit, filed in Manhattan Supreme Court, claims the subject was, quote, wholly unfit for human consumption and contained injurious substances, contaminants, poisons, toxins, parasites, bacteria, germs, and or organisms. Basically every horrible word a lawyer could throw at a breakfast sandwich. She says her physical, nervous, and mental systems were seriously and permanently injured, that she can't keep up with the normal household duties anymore, and that the medical bills keep piling up. McDonald's hasn't commented yet, and this joins a small wave of recent McDonald's lawsuits in New York, including one guy who allegedly found hair and metal in his burger, and another who went into anaphylactic shock from cheese on a Big Mac he wasn't supposed to get.
Jeez. First off, I'm just going to say, you should have to sign a disclaimer just going inside of McDonald's. Like, there should be an acknowledgement that you are putting your life in jeopardy, and anything that happens to you upon ingesting any food materials or food-like materials from McDonald's, you are taking responsibility for that. Like, if I were to go skydiving, I'm going to have to sign a waiver saying, hey, what I'm doing is inherently dangerous. Some things may happen to me, and if it does, that's my responsibility. I think McDonald's should require the exact same type of waiver.
I mean, I'm kind of in agreement here. I was going to say, like, if you were eating at a McDonald's, you should kind of just expect whatever that is, whether it's violent diarrhea or career and life-threatening illnesses.
Sure, absolutely. That's just.
I mean, the cheese one I can get if you ask for your burger without cheese because you're allergic to it. I guess that will.
Totally agreed. Totally agreed.
Brian,
it ain't no White Castle.
Man, I love me some White Castle. Is it wrong to still love White Castle after all these years?
No, they taste good, but they'll just mess you up. They will.
Oh, they will.
Mess you up. That is true. McDonald's will clean me out.
That's very true. Let's go down to Florida, Brian, for our last story tonight. where a Florida Highway Patrol trooper clocked a Honda Civic doing over 90 miles an hour on I-75 in Pasco County. And when he pulled the driver over, things got worse from there. This is a mugshot of the driver. 33-year-old Connor Parody showed up with bloodshot, watery eyes, slurred speech, and the unmistakable smell of alcohol, and reportedly bombed a field sobriety test so badly he quit halfway through.
Really?
Then troopers spotted the real headline: 34 open White Claw cans piled on the passenger seat. His blood alcohol came back at 0.177, more than double Florida's legal limit. He is now facing a DUI charge and presumably a very long talk with his liver. Here is a photo from the driver's seat of his car, where you can see some of the 34 White Claw cans.
Now, that's obviously not one sitting. There's no way you can drink 34 and not pass out. I mean, there's enough alcohol in them. You're not going to drink 34. I mean, Andre the Giant might have handled that, but not a small little kid from Florida. That's multiple driving and drinking. I mean, Jesus.
I wonder how many, because he's almost at like a 0.2.
Correct.
And they're not even good flavor. I don't even know what flavors are in there. Let's maybe zoom in on this. So it looks like black cherry and
grape.
Is that? I can't even tell what the purple one is.
Couldn't even tell you.
Dragon fruit or whatever.
Couldn't tell you. Now, just imagine drinking a White Claw and eating a McDonald's breakfast sandwich. Oof. Can you imagine what that would do to the inner lining of your stomach and digestive tract? Oh, terrible.
It'd be bad.
I'm assuming he didn't talk himself out with just a ticket.
No, I like the fact that he just quit halfway through his sobriety test. He's like, all right, you got me. What's that?
Fucking
Alphabet?
Florida.
Nah, just arrest me right now.
Fucking Florida. What a disaster of a state. Every week in, week out, they give us so much content. There's always a story of somebody in Florida just behaving in a manner that causes the other 49 states, including Georgia, to just sit there and say, come on, Florida, get your shit together. Get your shit together.
And if it's not Florida one week, it's Texas. Those
Correct.
two are
Absolutely.
consistently gold for us.
Damn right.
Folks, we're getting ready to wrap this episode up, but don't forget that we have, for our Patreon subscribers, an additional half hour of content that'll kick off in about 28 minutes. If you are not a Patreon subscriber, go to cultofronandbrian.com. Click in the upper right-hand corner. If you subscribe at the $10 a month level or higher, you get to join us live on Ron and Brian After Dark, which has hands down the best intro and outro videos you'll see anywhere. You think the ones for the main podcast are good? Oh, my friends. Chef's kiss for what Matt was able to put together for After Dark.
It's finest work. Finest work. And also, let's be brutally honest about Patreon. It is a way for you, the viewer, who's sitting there enjoying this free entertainment, to give something back to the show. Every week, Ron and I put together a minimum of 60 minutes. Well, that's on episodes that I don't do. When Ron does his solo episodes, they usually clock in somewhere around 55, 57 minutes. Weeks where I take part in the show, we give you a full hour absolutely for free. It's hosted on YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, streamed. You can watch it, not costing you a penny. However, this show does cost money. So how do you repay? How do you sit there and say, hey, listen, I've got a couple dollars in my pocket. I could just throw it out. I could go, get a coffee over at Dunkin' Donuts or Starbucks or Gregory's or Bean and Bean. But
I thought I was going to cut you off.
I really did. I was waiting for you. But how do I sit there and say, hey, Ron, hey, Brian, thank you for everything. Here's just a little bit to help offset the cost that you guys have to put this show on every week. That's what we have our Patreon for. $5 a month. It gets you in at the silver tier. It gives you access to the audio of our Patreon. And let's be honest, that is 30 minutes of content of stories that we couldn't do on this podcast. YouTube would shut it down. Facebook, they would blush a little bit at the stories, and then they would shut it down. Twitch, I think, would be kind of all right with it.
Okay.
But At $10 a month, you get a link every week. You get to watch the show live. You get to see people are right now on this podcast. They're in the comments. They're interacting. We're interacting with the comments. It's great. Now imagine if that story was a little spicier, was a little bit sexier. That's what our Patreon is for. There, for $10 a month, you get a link. You can watch the show live. You can interact. You can get the feed live on the streaming service of our choice. And there are tiers above. We're not whoring ourselves out. For only $10,000 a month, you get invited to our weddings. $10,000 a month, you get invited to our weddings. That's the level of interaction that we want to have with our fans. But if we go as little as $5, if that's what you can afford, great. It's all appreciated. Ooh, Jesus, I almost knocked over.
And don't forget, next Sunday, being the last Sunday of the month, it's going to be our pajama party. So our Patreon subscribers at the $10 a month level or higher get to join us live on the show. And we will have another trivia contest. It will be, I believe it's time for Can You Beat... No, it's time for Can You Beat Ron? Because you
correct.
had that incredible last-second victory in Can You Beat Ryan last month. So I'm excited. You usually come up with clever categories and topic for it. So I'm ready. I'm ready for this week to fly by and to get ready for next week's show already.
Very good.
All right, Brian, anything else before we wrap this up?
Love you, Ron. Love everybody that joined us. Thank you so much. We greatly appreciate it. Ron, enjoy your week. I will stay in touch with you. But look forward to this hour every week where I get to sit across from you, entertain you, be entertained, and just feel like, the pals that we are.
The love is real. So thank you as well, my friend. Thanks to all of you for joining us, and we will catch you next week.
Takes rising, orders given. Once you're in,